Live from WTVO Rockford and your home team. Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
Pet advocates call on the community to help locate an animal abuser. Neglect led to a dog's death on the side of a Rockford road. A Rockford museum says someone's using children to try to con you out of cash. Discovery Center staff warned they would never go door to door for donations. Plus, remembering Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., civil rights allies and advocates across the country spend the day raising awareness for voting rights. Good evening, I'm Eric Wilson. Mimi Murphy is off tonight. A state line animal organization needs your help. They found a dead dog left in a crate on the side of a Rockford road last week. Animal advocates want to catch whoever's responsible. Rachel Perry spoke with Care for Pets. Rachel, the group's offering a reward for information.
That's right, Eric. They desperately want to find out who is responsible for leaving the dog there, and they're offering a $2,000 reward for information. Now, I do have to warn viewers, the pictures coming up may be hard to watch. The dog was found dead in her crate, covered in snow.
So people need to know that when you're doing this is a felony.
A dog is found dead on the side of the road in Rockford. Just some straw and a tablecloth covering her in a crate.
She was snow covered. Most of her was snow covered in a collar, flea collar on that were too large, which would indicate that she wasn't fed properly.
Stephanie Hicks is the executive director of Care for Pets. The organization provides support to pet owners. After seeing a post on Facebook, Hicks found the female pit bull Saturday night near Sylvia and Martha Avenue.
I was shocked, and I honestly didn't want to look because it's horrific. It's horrific to look at a deceased dog that had either died of exposure or starvation.
Hicks took the dog's body to a vet, and now she wants the person who left the dog on the side of the road to be held accountable.
What happened, allegedly, if she was starved and died of starvation or of exposure like that and passed away that way is a felony.
And she encourages people to call animal services if they see an animal in need.
Keep making those phone calls over and over again because someone needs to be an advocate, a voice for these animals. Someone knows who this dog is, where this dog came from. Someone had to see the condition of this dog prior to her being discarded like trash, essentially.
Hicks wants a full investigation done. She's asking anyone to come forward and call Care for Pets with information. A petition has also been set up calling for the district attorney's office to take the case. A link to that and the Care for Pets phone number is on our website, mystateline.com. Eric?
Rachel, thanks. Domestic violence charges against a Rockford police officer are thrown out. The department placed Sisamfa Singlongthong on administrative leave last September after allegations were made against him that summer. He pleaded not guilty last fall. Today, a judge dismissed one count of domestic battery. In 2019, the department honored the officer for saving a person's life by performing CPR. Scammers target Rockfordians using a children's museum's name. Discovery Center says people have been going door to door selling raffle tickets to help the museum buy a new boiler. Reports of that scam first came in yesterday when a man and two kids allegedly tried selling tickets in the Shaw Woods neighborhood. Discovery Center staff say they haven't given anyone permission to collect money, and they likely never would.
I have a feeling that this person probably just was making something up to try to scam, poor people who know and love Discovery Center and would want to help us. That breaks our heart.
If you encounter anyone trying to collect money for Discovery Center, contact Rockford Police Department's non-emergency number and provide a description of the scammer. A leader in aviation who helped put the Chicago Rockford International Airport on the map has passed away. Fred Ford served as executive director of RFD from 1988 to 1994. During his time in the Forest City, Ford developed cargo facilities for Airborne Express, CF, FEMRI, and United Parcel Service. He also recruited 4 major passenger airlines and 3 cargo airlines before bringing success to a number of other U.S. airports. Ford passed away last Thursday in Fort Myers, Florida. He is survived by his 3 daughters. Americans across the country are paying tribute to civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King became the leader of the civil rights movement from the mid-50s until his assassination in 1968. He inspired the landmark Civil Rights Act in 1964, outlawing segregation. He won the Nobel Peace Prize at 35 years old. Today, President Biden paid tribute to King and drew a parallel from the 50s to present day.
Dr. King held a mirror up to America and forced us to answer the question, where do we stand? Whose side are we on? We're in another moment right now where the mirror is being held up to America, being held up again. The question being asked again, where do we stand?
Civil rights activists in Chicago are using Martin Luther King Day to highlight the need for greater voting rights. At a rally today, participants said there should be no MLK celebrations until legislation to protect those rights is passed. The group singled out 2 Democratic senators they say are holding up passing those critical protections.
We have 2 Democratic senators who represent less than 3% of the national population. Another 41 senators who represent less than 20% of the national population. And they are in the spirit of Bull Connor and George Wallace, blocking voting rights.
Martin Luther King Day remembrances in other parts of the country have also included demands for voting rights. For the first time ever, Illinois is celebrating Muhammad Ali Day. The Illinois Muslim Civic Coalition kicked off the commemorative holiday with a roundtable discussion. Ali's daughter, Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, and other leaders celebrated Ali and Dr. King's legacies and contributions. Muhammad Ali would have turned 80 today. The boxing great was also considered a champion of civil justice. After making his home in Chicago, Ali became more involved with the Nation of Islam and the civil rights movement. Thousands of peppermint-flavored baking chips sold at Walmart being recalled. Lily's Sweets is recalling more than 18,000 cases of the chips due to the presence of soy lecithin. It's dangerous for people with severe allergies or sensitivity to soy. The issue was discovered after customers contacted the company regarding the white pieces of candy mixed with the chips. There aren't any injuries or incidents reported. However, the company is recalling the products just to be safe. Lily's is offering a full refund for anybody who purchased the product. Growing support on Capitol Hill to ban acting members of Congress from trading stocks. Both Democrat and Republican senators have introduced separate bills to stop what they see as a conflict of interest. D.C.'s Raquel Martin is keeping you connected to the nation's capital.
I think this is a common sense proposal.
Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley says it's time to ban sitting members of Congress from trading stocks.
It's not too much to ask of elected officials that they focus on doing what the people sent them here to do and not be padding their own pockets.
Hawley says his proposal would require lawmakers and their spouses to avoid conflicts of interest by only investing in mutual funds or through a blind trust.
That way, you don't own any individual stocks, you're not trading on information that you may or may not have, and I think that ought to be the rule.
In recent years, several lawmakers have faced criticism for their trades. Former North Carolina Senator Richard Burr is currently under civil investigation after he sold more than $1 million in stocks right before the pandemic hit. Still, the effort faces an uphill battle. Illinois Democratic Senator Dick Durbin says he's unsure the bill is necessary.
There are limitations already.
Last month, Speaker Nancy Pelosi insisted current disclosure requirements are enough, despite a recent report showing dozens of members in violation.
But if people aren't reporting, they should be.
She says an outright ban goes too far.
We are a free market economy. They should be able to participate in that.
But a growing number of Democrats disagree. Georgia Democratic Senator John Ossoff also introduced a bill to ban trades and place steeper fines for any violations. In Washington, Raquel Martin.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candice King.
Well, overall, not too bad of an afternoon. We had the cloud cover, even a couple of light flurries, a few light snow showers for some earlier this morning. Our clouds have actually cleared out. A live look with our Mercy SkyTrack camera now out over downtown Rockford, kind of looking off to our south and southeast. You see the clearing taking place. This will continue here as we go through this evening before a little more cloud cover begins to work in from the northwest. Temperatures today made it into the upper 20s and and low 30s. Those numbers now sitting in the low 20s for some, down to 22 degrees currently in Galena. We're at 27 in Freeport, Rockford, but when you factor in that northwesterly wind, our wind chill values down in the teens. So it is a little bit on the cool side. Wind will turn light though as we go through the night tonight, and as we continue with a mostly clear sky for some, could actually see a little haze and some fog develop in a couple of spots before those clouds kind of roll back in. 26 for our weather watcher Ken in Belvedere said overall not too terrible of a January afternoon. 27 for our weather watcher Bob here in Rockford. That temperature tonight will drop down into the teens. Could see a couple of numbers fall just a little cooler than that here during the overnight, but then actually hold steady as some of that cloud cover kind of works back in. Tomorrow we are a good 10 degrees in some places, warmer than what we were today. Upper 30s, 38 degrees. Cloud cover will thicken up. Winds are also going to increase tomorrow too. That southerly wind though bringing that temperature up. It might put a little bit of a chill in the air though for tomorrow despite the temperature going up. So you're still going to have a wind chill factor out there. Now, reason why that cloud cover is going to increase is because of this quick moving low pressure system currently over northwest Canada. That is quickly going to zip down to our southeast and actually bring an increase in cloud cover, but it passes to the north of us, so we get a little draw of warm air. But it's also behind that low pressure system where we see our next shot of cold come in mid to end of the week, and that's because it's pulling down an air mass where temperatures currently in Canada are 20 to 30 degrees below zero. Now, of course, this air mass is going to modify as it works this far to the south, but it gives you an idea of just where kind of that source region for that cold is coming from. High temperatures will fall back into the low teens here middle of the week, and those overnight lows will once again drop back below average. And our overall trend over the next several days, which actually takes us through the end of January, favoring that probability or higher probability for below average temperatures. And if you're hoping for any big systems like maybe what they have in the south or out east, well, looks like we're going to stay mostly dry too. We've got a couple of shots of some light snow coming in. Might have to watch a couple of systems into early next week, but nothing in the short term at least would give us any significant snow. Now, cloud cover moves in tomorrow morning. We are going to see a mostly cloudy sky with the arrival of that warm air. Futurecast wants to paint in some very light precipitation. It's possible, so I'm just keeping a small chance for that in during the afternoon, but a lot of us are going to stay dry. Strong cold front comes in then Tuesday night. Temperatures are in the 30s through about midnight, and then Wednesday we really see those numbers drop. In fact, highs will fall back into the teens for the afternoon on Wednesday. Those overnight lows too, sitting on either side of zero. Temperatures on Thursday, low teens, back down below zero Thursday night. Wind chills by Friday morning, both Thursday and Friday morning, Eric, could fall back 15 to even 20 degrees below zero. A little bump in the numbers by the weekend, but you see we drop right back into early next week.
Now sports with sports director Scott Leber.
The last time the Ice Hogs played the Chicago Wolves 10 days ago, the Hogs destroyed the Wolves 8-0. The Hogs had to know that today the Wolves will be ready for this Martin Luther King Day afternoon special at the BMO. Lucas Reichel is back with the Ice Hogs. He was just sent down by the Blackhawks. Midway through the first period, Hogs with the puck. They're going to center it to Ryan Stanton, and he blasts in his first goal of the season. The game was tied up at 1. Just 25 seconds now into the second period, and here comes Andre Altibarmakia, and he whips the puck to Reichel. Reichel taps in his team-leading 12th goal of the season. The Hogs had their first and only lead of the game, 2-1. The Wolves dominated the rest of the way. They strung together 4 goals in the second period. Stefan Noesen gets that one past Arvid Soderblom on the power play. That gave the Wolves a 5-3 lead. Neither team scored in the third, so that was the final. Wolves 5, Ice Hogs 3. It's the Hogs' second straight loss. The Blackhawks playing right now in Seattle. They lead the Kraken 1-0 in the second period on a goal by Kubalik. The Bulls lost their 4th straight game in Memphis, 119-106. Zach LaVine once again did not play. The Bears' search for a new coach continues. They have interviewed former Dolphins coach Brian Flores. One report says the Bears are smitten with Flores. The Bears also recently interviewed Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator Brian Daboll. Tonight, the opening round in the NFL playoffs wraps up with an NFC battle. Cardinals take on the Rams. It's a 7:15 kickoff, and you can see that game right here on WTVO.